Hey, Treasure Hand Joe Pal, Big D back here again with week 3 of May's movie challenge. So, those of you that haven't seen it before, my wife gave this movie challenge I have to do every month, and there's 10 movies on there that I gotta watch. And if I complete them, I get a prize at the end, which I find is really fun because I get to go back and review a lot of these movies. And my wife did it for me as a way to get my mind off a lot of stuff. This has been really fun. So this month is May, and this whole month has been 80s month. So it's been 80s movies. So the 4 movies that I watched this week will put me at 8 for the month. I only have to have 2 more left, and those are gonna be easy ones. So let's get started. So the first one I watched was The Golden Child. I love this movie. Boy, this needs to come out on Blu-ray. But I really love this movie. This movie's a lot of fun. It has been a long time since I watched Brother Noomsy and all those guys in this movie, but I forgot how much fun this movie is. Eddie Murphy is a riot in this movie. It's just basically, essentially, the movie is there's this golden child that needs to be sacrificed in order to bring back essentially this big creature, and he's been employed to save the golden child, protect the golden child until a certain date. And he goes into Nepal and he meets I always call him Egg Shen from Big Trouble in Little China, Victor Wong, and it's just a really great movie. I mean, a lot of people in this movie were actually in Big Trouble in Little China. I thought it was kind of funny. I think I counted 4 people in this movie. They're actually in Big Trouble in Little China, which were filmed in the same year, so quite interesting there. I believe they were filmed the same year. But this movie's a lot of fun. It still really holds up. Although I got to tell you this, the DVD is not that great. The quality's not that good on the DVD, and it's in letterbox format, which is really weird. So I put it on my I have a 65-inch color television, and it brought it down to a small little box. But it had the lines at the top, but it had lines on the side, so it's almost like it was square, but it was still horizontal, excuse me, but it had big, huge black bars on all 4 sides. So I'm really hoping that Paramount decides to finally put this out. I heard rumors they are, but a better master version of this with, full screen. I mean, not full screen, but you know what I'm saying, like the enlargement to go to 16:9. So still a lot of fun, though. I love this movie, Golden Child. The next one we watched this is the Criterion Collection, Princess Bride. Now, we watched this the other day, and I was telling my wife, I go, it's probably been 10 years since I watched the movie. I always end up forgetting how much I enjoy this movie until I watch it. And it's been a long time. We sat down and watched. This was the one movie on my list. I was like, I don't know. But I always forget how much I enjoy this movie and how much I love this movie. And it's just, it's a great, fun family movie that every time you watch, you always see something a little bit new, but you get to see those characters, and you wait for all those characters to come out, and it's just a lot of fun. Andre the Giant, I mean, man, it's really sad that he is not with us anymore, but he is so good in this movie. I mean, everybody's really good in this movie. And it's just so much fun. It's swords, swashbuckling, just a happy old good time. You got Chris Sarandon here as the bad guy, and Carrie Ules. I mean, it's just so much fun. This movie's just a blast. So, Princess Bride. The next one I watched, and I actually sat down and watched the good majority of this with my brother and my nephew, and watched the rest on my own, and that is the first Back to the Future. What can be said about Back to the Future? It probably hasn't been said a million times. This movie, not only for me, was ahead of its time. It came at a perfect time in the 80s. This movie is so much fun. It deals in time travel, in ways that hadn't been really done in time travel movies before. There's a lot more comedy to it, but there's a lot more heart to this movie too. It's a really lot of fun. And I was sitting back and thinking about these movies and stuff like that, and realizing that this is not really Marty's story. This is more Doc Brown's story. If you really look at the movie, especially the third movie, if you really look at him, it's really Doc Brown's story. It's about this man who invents this time machine, essentially screws up time, and then has to fix it. And he's along with his sidekick, which is basically Marty McFly. Even though they focus on Marty, if you really look at the movies, at least in my opinion, it's really more about Doc Brown and how he starts off as this struggling doctor who can't create, this inventor who can't create anything. Everything he creates just kind of falls apart, to actually inventing something that works. But not only does it work, it creates a huge catastrophe that he has to spend 3 movies fixing. So, good stuff. I really enjoy this movie. The funny thing is the special effects hold up in this movie. Everything still holds up really well in this movie. Even this movie was made over 30 years ago. So it's really amazing how well this movie's held up. It is still so much fun. This is a movie that I can throw in, or if I'm flipping channels, I see it, I always sit down and watch the rest of it. You just can never go wrong with Back to the Future. And, it's funny because I went to Universal Studios and you get to walk down and watch it, see the clock tower. I got pictures of me in front of the clock tower, stuff like that. And it's just, this movie just holds a really special place in my heart. It's just a fun, great family film that I think it'll be around for a lot longer than I will be. Back to the Future. And the last one I watched, and I watched this yesterday, and, well, you can never go wrong with it. And that is, this is the 2-disc 4K set, but I did watch Ghostbusters yesterday. I have probably seen Ghostbusters, I at least watch it once a year. Probably seen it, I don't know, 50, 60 times over the years. It never gets old. I really love this movie. I always have. My wife's a bigger fan of the second one, although I do like the second one. The first one for me, it holds a bit more special place in my heart. I remember when I was a kid, this movie was playing as a double feature with Beverly Hills Cop. And I remember went to the theater. It's a little theater in our Capitol, which was where I lived at the time when I was a kid. And I went to the theater, and I was able to get in to see Ghostbusters because Ghostbusters was PG, but it was a double bill. The second movie was Beverly Hills Cop, and that was a rated R movie. And I remember I couldn't have been more than 13, I think, at the time. 13, 14. Was I that old? 13? Yeah, about 13, 14. So I remember getting into the theater, watching Ghostbusters, and then hiding in the movie theater. They went through and did their thorough check through, and then a couple people walked in. They started rolling Beverly Hills Cop, and I popped a little head back up and sat back down and watched Beverly Hills Cop. I remember at the time thinking that I was so stealthy because I did that. Ooh, I got away with something. I saw an R-rated movie, but I remember just wanting to see it. I had seen Beverly Hills Cop before my grandmother taking me to go see it, so I'd seen it before. I wanted to see it again. So I got to see both those movies that day, and it was actually a really cool day. But, you know, Ghostbusters, I'm looking forward to the new one coming out. I hope it's as good as these two are. I mean, no more Hell Ramis anymore, which is unfortunate. I'm really bummed that they couldn't get... oh my gosh, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Oh man, I can't remember his name. I can't believe it. Anyways, you know, it's a bummer they couldn't give anything. I believe they got Sigourney Weaver to do some sort of cameo, and I'm sure that we're going to see Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson and Bill Murray. Obviously, Bill Murray. We've seen photos of him on the set, so you know, hopefully it'll be a good movie. But this one is such a true classic. The special effects hold up for the most part. There's a couple of times I noticed in the movie that it kind of gets a little shaky, but for the most part, they did a really good job for a movie. Again, it was in the 80s. 80s did some spectacular things with special effects because everything was still digital was way in the infancy stage. So that a lot of what they do is practical effects. So I miss practical effects. I love practical effects. My favorite movie eras are 70s and 80s where they still use practical effects. I love modern movies now, but not nearly as much as these because practical effects to me feels more storytelling than just drawing something up on a computer. I don't know why. Most people kind of look at me and give me a weird look, but I feel that those effects, I just feel like a lot more went into it, a lot more time, a lot more effort, a lot more detail. I feel like a lot goes into those practical effects movies than going to digital effects, you know? So I just really enjoy those. That's why movies like Dark Crystal and stuff like that, I still really enjoy to this day because they're just all practical effects. Even look at Star Trek The Motion Picture, a movie done in the late 70s. Look at those effects compared to some of the stuff that's even done now. Some of the stuff's done really well, but it's all practical. It's all using laser lenses, but you know, just camera lenses and reflection effects and stuff like that. It's not this whole just sit down and punch in a bunch of numbers on a computer and create this stuff. I miss that era. I really do. I think a lot of really good movie making, a lot of good filmmaking happened back then. That's not to say, again, that the movies nowadays aren't as good, but I just think those movies hold a special place in my heart, and Ghostbusters is definitely one of them. From Slimer to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I mean, those elements are so iconic, and they're going to be around for a really long time, and that movie just, I mean, I've seen midnight screenings of this movie. Actually, I've seen midnight screenings of all 4 of those movies that I watched. You know, and it still holds it, you know, and you go into the theater even nowadays and watch one of these older movies, people are still so into it because these movies really hold a special place in all of our hearts. These are movies that will stand the test of time, at least I believe anyways. You know, these are the movies that people always think back and remember and think just how wonderful they are. So that's the reason why I like this movie challenge so much, because it really does let me it lets me refresh my memory and just how great some of this stuff is. So that's it for today. Thank you guys all for watching. I do have 2 more left on my movie challenge. I have Ferris Bueller's Day Off and E.T. I thought Back to the Future was going to be my last one to watch, but it wasn't. So I'll be watching those this week and be on my lookout next week for my last update for May. Thank you guys all for watching. In the comments below, let me know if you've watched any of these movies. Let me know what your thoughts are on them. I know my brother's watched quite a bit. I think he's ahead of me. I think he's only down to 1 movie left. I know he's watched these things. So leave me some comments down below. Click the like button if you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more videos by me, Big D, Go ahead and click that subscribe button. You'll see more videos. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Thank you for trying this video, trying watching these movies out and talking about them. Leave me some comments. You guys are awesome. Please be safe and take care out there. Always keep punching. You never know what you're going to find. And as always, live long and prosper. Bye.